Episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. You already know it's game day as the Chicago Bulls face the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to break it down, get into the pregame show. We're going to do all that right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
All right, Bulls fans, as you guys know, the Bulls face the Brooklyn Nets tonight. The Bulls will be without Andre Drummond. I think they did say that Zach LaVine will play tonight. He will not play tomorrow night against the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know if we got an update for sure on Ayo Dosunmu or not quite yet. I'm going to try to look into that right now. Hopefully he is playing. We'd love to see him play, but the Brooklyn Nets are going to be missing Ben Simmons and Seth Curry both, which I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not mad that Seth Curry is going to miss this game because the way that the Bulls give up three-pointers, Seth Curry may set a new career high against us if we didn't do any, if he was playing tonight. So we'll see what's going on with that. Yeah, Zach LaVine is confirmed to play tonight. So don't say anything on Ayo Dosunmu quite yet. Maybe it's a game-time decision. Him and Kobe White, which I don't know. What the hell did Kobe White get hurt doing? Thinking? Like, let me stop talking shit. But the Brooklyn Nets firing their coach, Steve Nash, earlier today. Seems like Ime Udoka will be their new head coach at some point. He is not tonight, however. So can the Bulls take advantage? Or the thing that I'm kind of worried about in this game is that with the firing of Steve Nash, maybe the players are a little bit more motivated, especially with Kevin Durant. We already know he wanted Steve Nash gone. Do they come out now firing on all cylinders, trying to kill us, man? That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about in this game. The Brooklyn Nets just being a little bit more motivated, that they got a terrible head coach out there, because Steve Nash has been a terrible head coach. And that's not even an indictment on his future as a coach, because sometimes coaches suck in their first stint. They got to go away. They got to come back, figure it out. I had high hopes for Steve Nash as a head coach. But even like Jason Kidd didn't have the biggest success his first year as a head coach. Had to go away, come back, and was improved. So maybe we see something like that with Steve Nash. But you know what? He's not a Chicago Bulls head coach, so I don't give a damn, and he's never going to be. Keep Steve Nash far away from the head coaching position of the Chicago Bulls. So that's what I got to say on that. This is going to be a game in which the Bulls are going to have to be locked in defensively. Yes, the Brooklyn Nets are the worst defensive team in the league statistically, and the Bulls are around 15th. But we know they're a team that can get hot. They can score against anybody, especially getting rhythm. The Bulls have always let a role player go off against them. Hopefully we don't see like Joe Harris having a career high or something like that. That's why I'm glad Seth Curry is not in this game. But the Bulls have to stand up. The Bulls have to come into this game prepared to give effort on both sides of the ball, because I tell you what, if they overlook this team, well, not necessarily to overlook it, but if they come in and they don't execute on both sides of the ball very well, it's going to be some big questions and some problems for this team against the Brooklyn Nets. So that's my thoughts on this game. We're going to see how it develops. I think the team's going to come in motivated. They have this is the first time this season, and one of the rare times over the course of the whole season, where the Chicago Bulls are actually going to have the rest advantage. Meaning that they are going to have better rest than the team, that the Brooklyn Nets come in on the second half of a back-to-back. So we'll see how that develops for the Chicago Bulls as well. Let's go ahead and get into the comments. Let's see what we got. Big Reese in the building. He says, we need this W. We need all the W's, brother. All the W's. Shay in the building. He says, we have to get out to a good start to start this game off. And don't get me wrong, Brooklyn isn't good defensively, but we kind of need to get off to a great start. Absolutely, bro. The Bulls have been the worst team in the league in first quarters. Bryant Washington says, if the team as a whole plays great defense, the Bulls should get a win no matter who is not playing, because the Nets are playing just as bad basketball. I think they're playing worse basketball than the Bulls. And this is also a game in which Vooch's size, he's going to have size mismatch a lot of times too. Nick Claxton's a solid. He's putting together a solid season. But outside of him, anytime Nick Claxton's not in the game, Vooch is going to have some huge size advantage. So hopefully let's see that come around as well. My little brother Smear60 says, what's going on with Drummond? He fell in the last game. He hurt his shoulder and his neck. So that's what's been keeping him out in games so far. And I really do think that they're trying to let him get as much rest as possible with Boston coming up on ESPN. Or is that the game on TNT? That game may actually be on TNT. Let's see. No, tonight's on TNT. So the Boston game is actually on ESPN. But I think they may want to let Drummond rest as much as possible because we got Boston and then we got Toronto and Toronto on back-to-backs. Then we got New Orleans. Then we got Denver. Then we got New Orleans again. Then we got Orlando. Then we got Boston. Then we got Milwaukee. So they probably want to let Andre Drummond get as much rest as possible because basically after the Charlotte game, we faced, and Boston is lacking some size because of injury too. After that Boston game, it's all teams with size and length. And so we're going to need a player like Andre Drummond to be at his best. I think in my opinion, Andre Drummond could probably play tonight. If this was like a playoff game or something like that, Drummond would play regardless. They're trying to let him get some rest because they got a hell of a test. The whole, matter of fact, from Friday to the end of November, we face all playoff teams. All playoff teams, well, except Orlando. So after Charlotte, we face Boston, Toronto twice, New Orleans, who I'm projecting to be a playoff team. They were a playoff team last year as well. Denver, New Orleans again. Orlando's the only one that's not. Boston and Milwaukee. That's a tough stretch. That's a tough stretch over the next 2.5 weeks for the Chicago Bulls. They got a tough stretch ahead of them, man. Bill Sammy in the building. He says, yo, what's good, Haize? What's going on, man? Matt says, and missing Steve Nash. I honestly think missing Steve Nash is better for them. That's how I look at it. So, it is what it is. NBA Sports says Io is an active player. Good. We need him out there. We need Io out there. Alana in the building says, hey, y'all, I'm actually watching the game tonight. Well, good. Ivan's also in the building, says, salute, Haize. What's going on, Ivan? Jose Cruz Miranda's in the building, says, fuck the Nets. Let's get this dub, CEO. Hey, bro, from your mouth to God's ears, man. PB and Patch, he having problem with his range of motion, but they said the MRI is clear. That's all that matters. Bro, do you think we got an injury curse like the Warriors had? Every team deals with injuries, man. And when you look at it, we haven't dealt with anything other than Lonzo. It's nothing major. So, it happens with the season. Unfortunately, it kind of ebbs and flows and goes, and we'll see how that develops over time. Alana says, if we lose this game, it's definitely possible. Charles says, what up, Haize? Love your content, bro. I watch you daily. Shout out to Pay to 100 check. Hey, listen, bro, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for checking us. Thank you for loving the channel. Thank you for the draft pick, Haize. Oh, well, thank you for Chase Claypool, my brother. Thank you. You take that draft pick. We needed the talent right now. So, hey, it is what it is. Had a whole damn argument last night with someone who said we need to be playing Marco and DT more minutes than Pat. Well, you get knee-jerk reaction fans. Listen, Marco, I tell you what, it'll take one game for most Bulls fans to realize, oh, this isn't why we're playing Marco. And Dalen Terry, though, I do agree that Dalen Terry needs to play. I'm not going to say more minutes than Pat. Especially Pat's put together 3 nice games in a row. I think maybe even 4. But DT, I think, does need to be getting some minutes. I do think that DT needs to be getting some minutes, but I'm not going to say more than Pat. That's kind of crazy. Thing about Claxton, he might be able to give it back to Vooch. I don't know. Not with the way Vooch has been playing this season. Keep in mind, Vooch is putting together one of his best defensive seasons so far. So yes, Nick Claxton is a really good defensive player, and he's putting together a solid offensive season for him too, almost averaging double digits, but he's not a Nikola Vucevic. Like he's not. He doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of how good Nikola Vucevic is, especially this season. So I think Vucevic's renewed focus on both the defensive end and just being a better offensive player as well, or a more efficient offensive player, is boding hugely well for him. And there's not that many centers. Like I said, last season Nick was a top 10 center. This year, Nikola Vucevic is playing like a top 5 center in the NBA. So, Colin Taylor says, where are you from, Haize? I'm not from anywhere, brother. So, military brat. I grew up overseas. I lived in Italy. I lived in Germany. I lived in Tennessee. I lived in St. Louis. I live in Columbus, Ohio now. My dad's from, I became a Bulls fan because my dad was born and raised in Chicago. So, I grew up a Bulls fan, but yeah. Yes, let's go ahead and say rest in peace to Takeoff, man. That's to lose your life at 28 years old and to look at what he was able to accomplish, man. Like the fact that I guess I didn't realize that that Migos were that young when they started, because they've been around for like 10, 11 years. And for him to be 28, after being in the game that long, and just the heights that the Migos were able to accomplish at a young age, man, shout out to them. And nobody can take away whether you're the biggest fan of Migos music or not, which I'm not the biggest fan of their music, but you can't take away their accomplishments. You can't take away from what they were able to do. You can't take away from their meaning to the music industry and how, in a lot of ways, they changed a lot of things in the music industry. And losing somebody that young is just crazy, man. It's crazy. My own legacy, defend the three-point line. That is hugely important for the Bulls. My boy, what's good? Big fan of the podcast. We got robbed last game. We need to take this joint. I agree with you. Ivan, Pat is making his shots tonight from my type into God's eyes. That is hilarious, man. Hey, Haize, that one dude was stuck on stupid. Who? I mean, rather have it now than towards the end, honestly. Drummond will be back soon, and hopefully Lonzo expecting a big game from Goran and DJJ. DJJ's playing pretty well in minuscule minutes, but he's playing pretty well. What's up, brother? New to the stream. Let's hope the Nets play tonight like Nash is still coaching them and we can get this W. Well, the Bulls need to play like they have something to play for, period. They have to lock in both defensively and offensively, and act like they want this game, regardless of what the Nets do or not. And thank you for checking out the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed as well. We are close and pulling into our 10,000 subscriber mark. We are about 940 away from that, 931 away from that. And when we do that, we will be doing a major giveaway. Let's get it. JT Mack, what's going on? Make sure you guys go and check out the official Facebook group that I'm partnered with, and that is Chicago Bulls Party Chat. Check them out. Bill Sammy says, predictions on how this game plays out tonight. Bro, I have no idea, because it depends on what Bulls team shows up, man. Like, it really depends on that. If this team is locked in defensively, I don't think the Nets can mess with us for real. If they're not, if they come in lax, it has the potential and chance to be very, 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 very ugly. But yeah, so we'll see. Haize, you speak German. I speak a lot of German, not fluent or anything, and I understand more than I speak. Haize, your upbringing reminds me of the Johnny Cash song, I've Been Everywhere, Where, man. It's more like Kobe. Like, it's really what it's like, and I don't say that to compare myself to Kobe, but we looked at Kobe. I think he lived in Germany, and he lived in Italy. It's like that, but I mean, I was military family, so it is what it is there. Haize, do you think the Bulls will waive Tony Bradley? I think they will when they're ready. And I've been saying this, right? Everybody's talked about the Bulls in that 6-game mark is when they could waive Tony Bradley. But if the target that the Bulls want isn't out there, they're going to hold on to him and wait. I honestly think the Bulls may wait all the way into the trade deadline. So we're looking at not till February. They may hold on to Tony Bradley, wait to see who's bought out, right? I mean buyout, the buyout market, and then see what veterans bought out, much like they did with Tristan last year, and then cut Tony Bradley and then bring in that veteran. I speculated before, like, if they wanted Melo, right? If they just thought Melo and his scoring off the bench and things and shooting then they may have pulled the trigger faster. But if they think that a veteran may be bought out that can contribute to this team and add to the playoff push at that time, gear up for the playoffs. At that time, you'll be bringing Lonzo Ball back. So you could possibly be bringing Lonzo Ball back as a midseason acquisition in sorts, and then play your game at the buyout market, and then really infuse some needed talent in spots that you may need it in. The Bulls may take a look to really evaluate. We're only 8 games into the season, so the Bulls really may take the time to really evaluate this roster and say, hey, rather than go out and get Melo now, right? Let's take a look at really what do we need down the stretch. This team is still very much pulling their chemistry together, still getting together. Zach's still not playing in every game, things like that. Let's really wait and see what we need, and then we'll know how we need to go and fill out that roster. All right, my Pitt Steelers for life. I'm a military kid too. My family from Pittsburgh, and I grew up on Jordan and the Bulls. I mean, most of us did in this generation, right? But I feel you. Military kids have a very unique experience in the fact that like anytime somebody asks me where I'm from, that's a difficult question for a military brat, right? And I always ask that. I'll be like, do you mean where I live now or do you mean where I'm from? That's usually how I respond to that because it's such a unique experience we have as military brats, right? Let's see. He was under your comment section. Oh, I mean, there's a lot of idiots under the comment section, unfortunately, not just on my channel, on every channel. So, it kind of is what it is, man. You're always going to get those. What's the chances of Larry making an all-star, even most improved player? If he keeps this up all season, I've always said, and I've been saying for the longest, Larry's eventually going to come back down to reality. That's just usually how it works. But if he keeps playing this up all season, if he has remember the season Julius Randle had that big season, then yeah, I think he definitely has a chance for most improved player. He definitely has a chance. All-star, maybe too. Larry Markkinen is averaging 22-9. Like, that's that 22-9, 3 assists, 1 block. Like, Larry is balling. If he maintains this, if he keeps this up for a whole season or even until January, February, he's absolutely an all-star. And he may be the most improved player of the year at that point. Stephen Gordon says, what up, Haize? What's going on, fam? Larry ain't going to keep this up, no way. I agree, right? But weirder things have happened, right? I don't think he's going to keep it up for a career. I can see in a world in which Larry keeps this up for most of the season, still wins most improved player, and then people are like, oh, the Jazz got a heck of a piece in Larry Markkinen, and then the following next season he comes out and he's back to being Larry. Like it could go that way. To be frank, YouTube comments be the most tame out of TikTok, IG, and Twitter. Well, you're a woman. It's completely different. I can only imagine the comments you get in your mentions. But outside of that, you can get crazy, but nothing's like Twitter. Twitter is the wild, wild west, man. That's a crazy place. I wouldn't go get Melo. He gave up a chance to win the championship here in Chicago for more money. Listen, you can't hold on to that. Business over everything. You can't. That's not the same front office. It's not the same team. It's not the same coach. We are so far removed for that. Listen, you got to let that go. That's PTSD. Fuck that. He went after the money. I'm sorry, but while I do think, of course, as a Bulls fan, I wish he would have took the deal and came to the Bulls. But as somebody with a family, as somebody like in your job, he would have turned down over $30 million more. You tell me you're willing to turn down $30 million. And keep in mind, it's not like the Knicks. The Knicks were trying then, right? There still was that little glimmer that they may try something. But I can't hold that against them, man. I can't hold that against them, period. Amela Davies says, as a Nets fan, I'm struggling this season so far with the defense we play. Oh, the defense has been trash, atrocious. The Nets have been the worst defensive team by a mile. It's not even close. It's actually crazy how bad defensively they've been. And Ben Simmons was, looked at as a defensive player at one point in his career. It's just like, I don't know, man. I think that they're going to eventually get it together. I do think that the Nets have the chance to be like the Boston Celtics, not to the heights, but to really pull it together at some point, especially they're bringing in Ime Udoka. Like, they definitely have a chance for that. But yeah, I don't know how much I'd bet on that. There's a chance of it, but I wouldn't necessarily bet on it. Dario, let me tell you how this is. Like, you can't just cut. So, yes, Marco has a partially guaranteed contract next season. He has a guaranteed contract this season. If the Bulls were to cut him, you can't just, you still eat up that. And keep in mind, this team is trying to avoid the luxury tax. It's not as simple as you suck, let's cut him. This isn't football. This is basketball. The NBA has very, very high restrictions on things like that. There's zero chance of Marko Simonovic being cut. Zero. Even the fact that the Spurs cut Josh Primo, they are going to be eating that salary all of next season. That's going to drastically affect their salary cap. It's not going to happen for Marco being cut. Now, Tony Bradley may very well be cut, but we'll see. We'll see. Cordell98 in the building says, "Hey, how you doing, bro? I'm good. I'm living, brother. I'm living, man. I'm out here." Matt, again, what up, Haize? The Nets are breaking apart. It was inevitable for something to happen. Should the Bulls re-engage in talks for KD or remain with the continuity mindset? They don't have enough to trade for KD. We've already said this. Like I said this all offseason. If the Nets make KD available, they are going to get considerably more draft picks from any other team than what the Bulls even could offer if they wanted to. So, period. No. There's no I tell you this. There is zero possibility, and I don't say that very often. There is zero possibility of the Bulls trading for Kevin Durant. You can make things work in the trade machine all day long by matching salaries. I'm telling you right now, by what the Nets can get for KD on the open market, there is no chance in hell that the Bulls can match anything. The Bulls can't match the top 5 deals if Kevin Durant becomes available that teams would go in on. They just don't have the draft picks. They don't have the draft picks. And they really don't have the salary. You got to look at it like to match KD's salary, you're talking about DeMar and Vooch off the top. And at that point, replacing DeMar and Vooch with Kevin Durant is not gonna net you that much better. Now, one could say, all right, then the Bulls can re-up next season. They'll have a core of Zach LaVine, Io, Lonzo, Kevin Durant, and maybe they can do something then. But then you're still running the risk. And even then, you got 2 expiring contracts, with not many draft picks coming back. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Just realistically, it's not going to happen. Tariq Tardo says, congrats on the robbery your Bears did to my Steelers for Chase Claypool. Great trade for your team. It's so funny. Like, I've heard this a lot from a lot of Steelers fans, but then I've also heard some Steelers fans say, oh, you guys paid us too much for Chase. You guys are going to really be disappointed in him. And then some Bears fans even, oh, we got robbed. And then some Bears fans, oh, this is an amazing deal. Like, we'll just have to see how it works out, man. You have to see how it works out. Jonathan Aegis with a great point. I feel like teams usually do pretty well the next game after the coach gets fired. I would love to see the statistics on that, but I know there have been a nice amount of teams that have done good the first game after the coach has been cut. No, he's not coming here, and the Bulls aren't firing Billy Donovan yet, so it's just not going to happen. He's going to the Nets. Seeing this channel blow up is awesome. Been around since 1K subs. Keep grinding, brother. That's from 88 Keys 444. I appreciate that. Appreciate all my day ones and people who've been here early, man. Like, I still remember the times where it was 40 of us in a post-game live stream. Now we're here in the pregame show with 158 people in here currently watching. Like that's crazy to me. Like, and I don't take it for granted. I remember when I first started doing pregame shows, and literally it was like 25 people in here. Right? So, like, the channel's grown so much in a relatively short amount of time. And that's because of you. Like I said, I suck at promoting this podcast on social media. I suck. Literally, I am trash at promoting this show on social media. But the growth has been organic. It's been because you guys spreading the word. It's been because you guys being in here and interacting. That's the thing that I think people forget, right? With YouTube, when you have people that actually interact with your content, that post, that comment, that do these things, it helps grow the channel because then it pops up in more people's algorithms. So you guys are just as big a part. That's why anytime I post about this channel hitting a milestone, if you notice, I always say we. It's never me. It's never I hit 10,000 subscribers. It's never I did this. It's never I did that. It's always we. Because when I started this, I wanted to build a community for Bulls fans, and you guys are the community. I may be the one here with the microphone and the camera, but you guys are just as big as part of the success of this channel as anyone is. So I appreciate you guys hugely for that. Guilty as charged. I wanted Ben Simmons for his defense and passing, but oh man, thank God we didn't. Do need help, man. He needs a sports therapist immediately. Immediately. Ivan says, hit that like button if you rock with the content. Yep, and if you aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. It would have to be a 13-team trade for the Bulls to get KD. Absolutely, and even then, bro, it's still making it hard, bro. Matt, he just wants to talk about Migos, man. First of all, I do have a hip-hop show. We stream live every Thursday. It's called The Breaks Radio. Go and look it up. I think it's also in the channels tab of this channel because we'll be talking about that heavily on Thursday night when we stream. But yeah, he says this. I feel like Migos modernized, commercialized, and made high profit off it. The Trip It rap flow, the originators of the flow, Bone Thugs, 3 6 Mafia, and Public Enemy. Even then, right? 3 6 Mafia and Bone Thugs, I'll give you. Public Enemy wasn't flowing because rap was just different then. Wasn't rapping like Migos. And when you really see the triplet style where it's truly a back and forth, where sometimes you have 3 people on one verse going back and forth, Bone Thugs and Harmony was like really the first ones to do that. So yeah. Alana says, yes, you've grown so much. I appreciate that. Off topic, you see Malika Andrews on that shit again. What'd she do? She was twerking again? Crazy. On a personal level, do you think people that get money should change their set of friends, surroundings because of seeing what happened? Listen, this is what I'll say with this. For me, if I ever make it, truly make it, keep in mind, I make really good money at my normal 9-to-5 job. Like most people would be happy, well off, and set at what I make in my 9-to-5 job. But I got these goddamn kids who don't stop eating and who are with me all the damn time. But for that being said, if I was a millionaire, you're not catching me with regular people. I'm in the crib. I'm in the house. I'm in the house or I'm with other millionaires at private estates because nowadays people are just crazy and you never know who's going to try to check. And I don't know the details of the takeoff situation because it originally was said that it was over a dice game. And then first it was like it was in an alley and then it was outside of a bowling alley. And then it was like somebody else said it was somewhere like, I don't know the details. And initially they said he was shot by one of Quavo's friends. It seems like that's not true. The Houston police came out and said they don't know who the shooter was. So you just never know. You're not finna catch me if I'm a millionaire with you regular motherfuckers outside playing dice. I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna happen. If Haize ever truly makes it, I'm still gonna be a man of the people, but I'm gonna be a man of the people from the comfort of this studio, and I'm not finna be outside with the regular people because not only people trying to touch me or my family, I'm crazy. I will shoot you, and then I'll be in jail and not a millionaire anymore. I'm not doing it. I will shoot you. Listen. Y'all already know how I feel about Olin Kreutz. He walk up on me, I'm shooting him. Period. So listen, I'm telling you right now, if Haize ever truly makes it to the point where I got pajama money, I'm gonna be at home in my pajamas, rubbing my woman's feet. That's what I'm gonna be doing. Chilling, talking shit, sipping with my pinky up, recording these episodes for you guys, and letting my dick swing. That's all I'm gonna be doing. You ain't even gotta worry about it. Where Haize at? Haize is in the crib naked. Naked. It's just a t-shirt and a hat. There's nothing on below that. That's where Haize is going to be if I truly ever make it. You ain't even got to worry about it. You ain't got to worry about it. Bro, I remember the first time I watched you. I was traveling to Seattle to visit family during the Christmas holidays. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm glad you stuck around with my crazy ass, man. Yeah, you be doing your shit. I can see you on ESPN. Good. Oh, no, listen. The moment ESPN may think to hire me because I do know my shit, right? But the moment if they come across in their research of a Petty Roosevelt video, they're going to look at it and be like, did this motherfucker just say he would shoot Olin Kreutz? Oh, he got into a beef with Jordan Crawford? He said he would smack Jordan Crawford? Oh, no, we can't hire this dude. It's too much of a liability. Oh, man. Great podcast. Love the insight you and Pat give. Keep it up, brother. Lord Zoe Bay says, Twister, get the fuck. Oh, no, see, I said triplet style. I don't mean the fast rapping style. I mean the fact of collaboration. Now, you could say Twister and the Speed Knot Mobsters for sure, but even then, Twister and the Speed Knot Mobsters never really, in one verse, passed the mic back and forth. That's what I meant by that. As far as like the grandfathers of what do they used to call it? The tied tongue style of rap. Twister is absolutely one of the forefathers of that. You can't. Matter of fact, if you live in the Midwest and you're talking about Midwest legends and you don't mention Tech Nine or Twister, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you about hip hop. If you talk about legends from the Midwest and Twister and Tech Nine aren't one of the first people out your mouth, we can't have a conversation. If you mention Nelly before you mention Twister, I can't have a conversation with you. I can't have a conversation with you. We're done talking hip hop at that point. Marquis said, what happened with you? And oh, no. So I was dissing Sam Mustapher, and somebody in the comments was like, hey, you know how Olin Kreutz feels about people who talk crap about Sam Mustapher? And I said, Olin Kreutz can come see me if he wants to. I guarantee you he leave with his life changed. That's all I'm going to say on that one. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Yeah, shout out to Pat too. Shout out to Pat the designer, by the way, my co-host over on Locked on Bulls. I still have yet to watch Tales of the Jedi, bro. And that's mainly because my son, my youngest, if I watch Tales of the Jedi without him, I may not wake up in the morning. Patricide is what they call when kids kill their father. If he finds out, if he goes to that Disney Plus and sees that it says played, I'm telling you right now, I'm not waking up. It's not going to happen. That 9-year-old is a gangster, and I'm terrified of him. Forget Olenkreutz. My 9-year-old son is the most gangsterest motherfucker in the planet right now. If he finds out that I was to watch Tales of a Jedi without him, there is no more Chicago Bulls Central. There's none of that. He's going to be sitting in this chair like Chucky and the end of the last episode when he was hosting that show like, hey, motherfuckers, he's dead. That's what he's going to say. Oh, man, that is crazy. Brandon Peck in the building. What's going on, man? Juan Miller, how do you think P. Will go today, man? I don't know. Hopefully we get P. Will and not passive P is what I can say to that. Hopefully. He grabbing the blick. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm not even, listen, Olenkreutz is a big man. And I'm not afraid to fight anybody. But I'm also not stupid. Olenkreutz comes running at me, I'm not even finna leave it up to chance. I'm shooting. It's it. There's no questions about it. I'm shooting. Like, period. There's no questions. I'm not asking. I'm not waiting to see if he's just coming up to me to talk about the podcast. If Olenkreutz come out of a dark alley and be like, you Haize, and starts walking to me fast, I'm shooting him. I'm letting you know right now. I'm shooting Olenkreutz. It's happening. He's getting shot. That's it. The man is getting shot. That's period. Point blank, no questions asked. We ain't got a pass go. Do not collect $200. Send me directly to jail because the motherfucker is shot. And that's all I got to say about that. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. That motherfucker is shot. It's done. Steve-O speak. My whole family crazy as fuck, bro. Like, it literally. And it probably it stems from my DNA. So I'll tell y'all a story real quick. I tell this story all the time. My oldest daughter, Amaya, shout out to Amaya. When she had to only be like 8 at that time, maybe even younger than that. She went to a church lock-in, and it was boys and girls. They were together, and then they separated at the end of the night or whatever. I went to pick my kids up in the morning from this church lock-in, and the youth pastor was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, your daughter had to hit a dude with a 2-piece last night." I said, "Wait, what happened?" So you know how little boys are when they like girls, they flirt and they kind of get physical and shit like that. I think that's what happened. But before the boy could do anything, my daughter hit him with a 2-piece, and he was on the ground crying. And the youth pastor was like, I couldn't even say that she was wrong because the dude was out of line. But yeah, the dude, he got embarrassed the rest of the night. My family is crazy. We don't play. That's it. I used to, so in high school, I used to, like, after my parents split, I was dealing with my depression. But nonetheless, my friends used to be like, hey, CJ, I bet you can't beat his ass. And I'd be like, all right, bet. And I used to go start a fight. I was crazy. The fact that I'm functioning now is nothing but therapy. Therapy is important, fam. That's all I can say. Therapy is important. Oh, man. Brandon Peck, were you shocked at the Nash firing? Actually, no. We actually, on today's episode of Locked on Bulls, which we recorded last night, we said that Steve Nash may get fired after today's game. So we kind of predicted it. So, oh, man. Bro, depression is no joke, man. That's why, I started my first solo podcast that I got into, The Awakened Soul, is about mental health, activism, everything, but mainly mental health. Like, I have an episode on that podcast called Pieces of Me, where I actually talk about my depression and how, I felt like pieces of me were missing. And then as I went through therapy and stuff, it felt like I was starting to gain those pieces back of me, and I was this complete person. But it takes time and it takes work. So, what's your thoughts on the Kyrie Irving situation? I mean, listen, bro. Kyrie. He's gonna have a controversy every year, bro. That's just it. It's going to happen. It's already written. And that's kind of just what it is. Today's trade deadline made history for the NFL. What kind of history did it make? I know it made history over on the Chicago Bears Central, by the way. Make sure you guys subscribe to Chicago Bears Central if you guys are a Bears fan. That live stream I did after the trade today, that mug went up. And I'm not even going to lie. I was in that mug. It was a midday live stream, so I'm thinking, hey, it's not even going to do that much. I didn't want to post edit it. So I was just like, let me go ahead and live stream it. That mug hit. It hit. And I'm not mad at it at all. I put in too much work. Almost 4,000 views on that mug. That made mug. No, we had a video that hit 9,000 over there, so it's not the highest. But you know what it is, man. It is what it is. You're going to make NFL Central? No. So I am done adding shows. As you guys know, with Chicago Sports Central, which is the logo you can see right here, you can see right there, we're going to add content to that channel. There's actually somebody who wants to do a Chicago White Sox show that will be over there. I'm going to start. I haven't been posting the Bulls videos as consistently there. I'll post them there and here. But yeah, we're going to get that off the ground, but that's not going to be more shows hosted by me. That's just not going to be hosted by me. I'm done. I'm at my limit with shows. I don't have any more wherewithal for shows. I can't do it. So, you know, it is what it is there, man. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. Boom, 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 boom. All right, had to send something to the Cognac boys. Juan, I actually talked about this earlier. Like, Laurie has a chance to win Most Improved Player of the Year if he maintains this throughout the season. I don't have confidence that he will, but if he does, then shout out to him. Shout out to him. I love your show, bro. Shout out to you, Off the Wall. Listen, I'm crazy, bro. I keep telling y'all, I'm just a functioning crazy person. Did you just do the hardcore? Oh, absolutely. Come on. Y'all know I'm a wrestling fan. That's how I got into podcasting. So at this point, it was probably like 11 years ago. I started off on a wrestling podcast, and that's how I initially that's how I learned audio editing and the mics and no video. We didn't do video back then. That was like before video became a thing, but that's how I initially got into podcasting. And then I took the skills that I learned there, and I started the Awakened Soul, and then it kind of just blossomed into what it is now. Let's go, Bulls, absolutely. Laurie finally got some dog in him. Maybe he can pass the joint to Pastor P. Now, Laurie up there in Utah with all the – never mind. If y'all know what I was going to say, shout out to Kobe. Y'all know what I was going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. See, yeah, you saw a clip of me interviewing April Hunter. Yep. I interviewed April Hunter. I've interviewed Aleister Black. I forgot what his name is now, but that was before. That was way before he was in WWE. Ricochet. I interviewed Ricochet on that podcast. Yeah, it got pretty big as well. Don't say it. Don't say it, Haize. Listen, that's it. You know what it was. So if we do a wrestling podcast, that would be fun as hell. No cap. Next to sports, that's my first love. Well, Steve-O, I still have all the logos from the wrestling podcast. I still own all the copyrights and everything to it. If you want to start a wrestling podcast, I can throw those logos over to you. It was called the Wrestling World Podcast Network. Then we had the Red Zone, which was the Raw review show. We had the Blue Zone, which was the SmackDown review show. We had Next Level, which was the NXT review show. We had Strong Style Central, which was for all Japanese wrestling at that time, not just NJPW. That was before AEW was a thing, so we didn't have an AEW show. We had the TNA show, which was, what was the name of the TNA show? I can't remember what the name of the TNA show was, but yeah, we were out here, man. I told y'all about my boy Petty Roosevelt. You already know. Haize, what do you think is the key to victory tonight? Execution on both sides of the ball. Period. That's it. Execution on both sides of the ball. Not letting them get out on big runs, but locking in defensively. If the Bulls can do that, it's going to be a good night for the Chicago Bulls. But with that being said, we're 15 minutes till game time. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the stream, save my voice a little bit. We'll be back at halftime hangout, so make sure you guys click the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Hit the notification bell if you want to make sure you're notified when we go live. But that is it, man. Love you guys. Oh, that's what it is. The TNA show, you said that, it reminded me. The TNA show, the name of that show was Let Me Talk to You. That was the name of the TNA show from, what was the name of the wrestler? He just made his debut in the WWE too. But anyway, that was the name of the TNA, the Impact Wrestling show. But that is it, man. I love you guys, man. I'll see you guys at halftime. Peace, y'all.